Good day, and welcome to the Bilibili 2021 fourth quarter and full year financial results and business updates call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Juliet Yang, Executive Director of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, operator. During this call, we'll discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially from those mentioned in today's news release and in this discussion due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filing with the SEC and Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The non-GAAP financial measures we provide are for comparison purpose only. Definition of these measures and a reconciliation table are available in today's news release we issued earlier today. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. In addition, an investor presentation and a webcast replay of this conference call will be available on the Bilibili IR website at ir.bilibili.com. Joining us today from Bilibili senior management are Mr. Rui Chen, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Carly Li, Vice Chairwoman of the Board and Chief Operating Officer, and Mr. Sam Fan, Chief Financial Officer. And I will now turn the call over to Mr. Fan, who will read the prepared remarks on behalf of Mr. Chen.
Thank you, Juliet, and thank you everyone for participating in our 2021 first quarter results conference call. I'm pleased to deliver today's opening remarks on behalf of Mr. Chen. Growth remained the key word for Bilibili throughout the year of 2021. In the fourth quarter, our MAUs rose to 272 million and mobile MAUs rose to 252 million, each representing a 35% increase year-over-year, making us one of the fastest growth companies in China's internet space. At the same time, average daily time spent on our platform rose to 82 minutes, with DAUs reaching 72 million in Q4, 34% more than the same period in 2020. In fact, we have more than doubled our MAUs in the past 3 years, far outpacing the industry growth rate. This is no small feat. Importantly, our expanding user scale translated to top-line expansion with consistent quarterly growth in 2021. For the fourth quarter, our total revenues reached another record high of 5.8 billion, up 51% year-over-year, and our full year revenues grew by 62% to 19.4 billion. MPUs in Q4 grew to 24.5 million, up 37% year-over-year. And our paying ratio expanded to 9%. Above all, as we gain more users, more advertising dollars are being directed to our platform. Our full year advertising revenue reached to 4.5 billion, up 145% year-over-year, spearheading our top-line growth. We firmly believe the value of our community is tied closely with the scale of our users and their level of trust in our platform. There's no doubt that our Gen Z Plus users are the most valuable group in the market. They are our society's backbone and the mainstream consumers in all kinds of economics. Our engaging community connects and tightly bonds those users to our platform, creating an invaluable relationship built on trust, which leads to multiple avenues for commercialization. Looking at our plan for 2022 in more detail, quality growth will remain our top priority. We will continue to build our multi-category content ecosystem, meeting users' video demand across various consumption scenarios. We remain committed to achieve our user target of 400 million MAUs by the end of 2023. While we grow our user base, we will continue to improve our commercialization capabilities. Specifically, we plan to increase our revenue per MAU by developing more value-added services to meet our users' evolving needs, as well as increasing our ad revenue by optimizing our ad products and improve ad efficiency. Our revenue per MAU in 2021 increased by 20% year-over-year, and we expect this trend to continue. More importantly, we plan to optimize our capital allocation and effectively control our spending across our business. In 2022, we will strengthen our execution and our commercialization capability and aim to narrow our loss margins. Meanwhile, we hold RMB 30 billion in cash reserves as of the end of 2021. This gives our ample liquidity to support our long-term growth strategy and provides a strong cushion in the evolving industry landscape. With that overview, I'd like to go through some details of our fourth quarter operations as they related to our content, community, and commercialization. PUGVs continue to be our most prevalent feature, accounting for nearly 94% of our video views in the fourth quarter. As the bedrock of our ecosystem, we are actively expanding our PUGV content categories and scenarios to grow and test our community together. Our top categories in the fourth quarter were lifestyle, games, entertainment, anime, and knowledge. Our active users inspire our creators and vice versa, creating a respectable community environment that fuels our virtuous cycle. In the fourth quarter, over 3 million monthly active creators submitting nearly 11 million video creations. That makes 58% more creators and 83% more submissions compared with the same period last year, outpacing our user growth. Content creators with more than 10,000 followers increased by 41% in the fourth quarter, showing that our community connections were tighter than ever. We have continued to refine our algorithm and create avenues to unlock content creators' commercial value, making sure they are seen, recognized, and well rewarded. In January, we honored top 100 content creators at the 4th annual Bilibili Power Up 2021 award ceremony. Notably, in 2021, over 1.3 million content creators received monetary rewards through various channels on Bilibili, covering near 90% of content creators with over 10,000 followers. Primarily payment channels include our cash incentive program, live broadcasting, the Sparkle ad platform, and the direct tipping from users. By the end of 2021, over 550,000 content creators had enrolled in our cash incentive program. On top of native ads, our Sparkle platform, we plan to launch more accessible and scalable ad tools and functions within or around the video platform to help better monetize content creators' private domain traffic. As part of user growth strategy, we are upgrading our content ecosystem with a few different ways. The first is expanding our category outreach to appeal to different gender, occupations, and age groups. Each of these groups bring us more avenues for grow our user base. For example, we are advancing our positions in the student community, adding more female-oriented content and expanding our pen knowledge libraries appeal to mature users. Secondly, we are broadening our video formats to address users' needs in different access scenarios. Specifically, we are optimizing our short-form video story mode to fit into users' fragmented time. The initial feedback from our community is encouraging. It's not only satisfied content needs for users on the go and boosted engagement levels, but also helps the user discover even more PUGVs and live broadcasting content across our video universe. Additionally, our smart TV app that extends to living rooms is meeting our users' needs for immersive video experience on large screen. These initiatives are actively in sync with our brand proposition. All the videos you like, anywhere, anytime. For our OGV department, expanding our OGV category is helping us attract new users, convert users to premium members, and create valuable IP assets. Two main areas of focus will be Chinese anime and the documentary. In November, we announced 51 new Chinese anime titles at our fourth Made by Bilibili Chinese Anime Press Conference. As an imaginative art form, we believe that Chinese anime can transcend barriers of gender, race, and language. With our increasing global appeal, we also officially upgraded our Chinese anime proposition to Made by Bilibili, Made for Global. We are delighted to see our Chinese anime being highlighted for its originality, long-tail IP asset value, and our successful globalization initiatives. Over the past 2 years, we have established partnership with Netflix and Sony, distributing 24 titles in overseas markets. In 2021, our top-rated anime titles were The Daily Life of Immortal King Season 2 and The Link Click, which not only won the hearts of Chinese fans, but also reached over 100 countries' anime markets. We also host our first documentary press event in December and announced its plan to produce 21 new titles in the coming years. As our flagship content category, documentaries represent our youthful content. In addition to commercial value, it also brings great cultural value and represents our commitment to social responsibility. Some of our doc series have already turned into important IPs. In January, the return of our reading documentary and yet the book and police station reality show, The Guardians of Jiefangqi, were both met with great enthusiasm. Turning to our community. Community surrounds and grounds our ecosystem. Our users and content creators form tight bonds, and interactions create trust, a strong sense of belonging, inspiration, and retention value. We actively cultivated a fun, informative, and friendly environment where users can express themselves in a supportive community. For the fourth quarter, we had remarkably high engagement and interaction levels, showing that both new and experienced members are finding connection and fun on Bilibili. As mentioned previously, in Q4, the average daily time spent on Bilibili reached 82 minutes, the highest fourth quarter usage time in our operating history, and the daily video views soared to 2.2 billion, up 80% year-over-year. Monthly interactions in the first quarter more than doubled from the same period in 2020, jumping into 10.1 billion. We exit the year with 145 million official members, up 42% year-over-year, and a strong 12-month retention rate of 84%. Now let's look at our commercialization progress. In the fourth quarter, our total revenues reached RMB 5.8 billion, up 51% year-over-year, and our full-year revenue grew by 62% to RMB 19.4 billion. Revenue per MAU was RMB 77.6 in 2021, up 20% year-over-year. Having gathered half of China's Gen Z plus population on our platform and understood their needs, we believe we can consistently improve our commercialization capabilities and continue to increase our revenue per MAU. Beginning with our mobile game business. Under the current game industry environment, our goal for 2022 is clear. We will enhance our current domestic game operations while we continue to focus on selectively developing game in-house and overseas game distribution. As for our game pipeline, we currently have 5 titles approved for domestic release and 13 titles slated for international release in the coming quarters. For the fourth quarter, our mobile game revenues were 1.3 billion, up 15% from the same period last year. We released 4 new titles domestically and 3 new titles in overseas markets during the quarter. Meanwhile, Many of our older games were still showing long life cycles. Revenues were still on the rise for some of our exclusive licensed games, such as Azunala. As a game operator, we continue to protect young players from game addiction and promote healthy game behavior following the anti-addiction measures we launched early on for teenage players. In 2021, our revenue from players under 18 years old account for less than 1% of our game revenues. Looking at our VAS business, our VAS business remains strong with revenues of RMB 1.9 billion in the fourth quarter, up 52% year-over-year. VAS revenue per MAU were RMB 27.8 in 2021, up 34% year-over-year. As we develop more products and services based on our users' entertainment needs, we believe VAS has great growth potentials beyond live broadcasting and the premium memberships. We will actively explore innovative avenues within our community to increase VAS revenue per MAU. Live broadcasting, as an organic component of our video content ecosystem, has formed multiple self-reinforcing circulations within our community. For example, we see great synergies between content creators and live broadcasting hosts, as well as their commercialization opportunities. In 2021, over 70% of our content creators with 1 million followers were live broadcasting hosts. Over 600,000 content creators generated income through live broadcasting during the year. In 2022, we will continue to explore innovative ways to incorporate live broadcasting with our video community and enhance users' overall experience. Turning to our premium membership business. By the end of the fourth quarter, the number of premium memberships reached an exciting milestone of 20 million, representing an increase of 39% year-over-year. Notably, near 80% of our premium members signed up for an annual or continuous monthly plan, demonstrating their love and trust in our platform. As for advertising, our advertising business is a great demonstration of how our value comes from our users and strong trust between them and the community. We hit another home run with our advertising services in the fourth quarter. Ad revenue in Q4 reached RMB 1.6 billion, up 120% year-over-year. Full year ad revenue coming at RMB 4.5 billion, up 145% year-over-year. Ad revenue per MAU in 2021 was RMB 18.1, up 83% year-over-year. With nearly half of China's Gen Z plus users on platform, Bilibili has become a must for advertisers looking to reach this golden consumer group. Video-based integrated marketing campaigns has emerged as a key solution. In 2021, more of our native ads went viral, alerting even more advertisers to our powerful content and its influence among users. In 2022, we plan to further integrate our Sparkle ad platform with more scalable ad products. This will enable native ads to gain more exposure while realizing more efficient and smooth sales conversions on Bilibili, achieving the efforts of brand and performance ads in one shot. Additionally, we plan to enrich our ad display scenarios with story mode and the smart TV, greatly increasing our ad inventory and offering more place for advertisers to reach their desired customers. We are glad to see our integrated marketing campaigns have been welcomed by more and more new industries. In 2021, we welcomed a well-known consumer brand and a premium automotive group as our key sponsors of the New Year's Eve Gala. In the fourth quarter, our top 5 advertising verticals were mobile games, e-commerce, 3C and digital products, food and beverage, and automotive. As we move through 2022, we expect visualization to continue paving the way for massive industry opportunities forward. We will continue in expanding our user base, as we believe we are still in the initial stages of ramping our money commercialization efforts. In 2022, we will work to generate more revenue per MAU by introducing more value-added services to our users and valuable ad products to our partners. At the same time, we will focus on expense control and overall operating efficiency improvement. This concludes Mr. Chen's remarks. I will now provide a brief overview of our financial results for the fourth quarter of 2021 and the outlook for the first quarter of 2022. Total net revenue for the fourth quarter was RMB 5.8 billion, up 51% from the same period of 2020. We continue to see a more balanced revenue mix driven by our diversified commercialization channels. Our total net revenues breakdown by revenue stream was approximately 22% mobile games, 33% VAS, 28% advertising, and 17% e-commerce and other business. Cost of revenues increased by 62% year-over-year to RMB 4.7 billion. Revenue sharing costs, a key component of cost of revenues, were RMB 2.4 billion, representing 91% increase from the same period in 2020. Gross profit increased by 16% year-over-year to 1.1 billion, and our gross margin was 19% in the fourth quarter. Total operating expenses was 3.1 billion, up 68% from the same period in 2020. Sales and marketing expenses was 1.8 billion, representing a 73% increase year-over-year. The increase was primarily attributed to increased channel and marketing expenses to promote our app and brand, as well as promotional expenses for our mobile games. Moving into 2022, we aim to actively manage and control our marketing spending and improve our overall operating efficiency. G&A expenses was RMB 538.1 million, representing a 57% increase year-over-year. The increase was primarily due to increased headcount in G&A personnel, share-based compensation expenses, allowance for doubtful accounts, rental expenses, and other G&A expenses. R&D expenses was RMB 797.6 million, representing a 65% increase year-over-year. The increase was primarily due to increased headcount in research and development team and share-based compensation expenses. Net loss was RMB 2.1 billion for the fourth quarter of 2021, compared with RMB 843.7 million in the same period of 2020. Adjusted net loss, which is a non-GAAP measure that excludes share-based compensation expenses, amortization expenses related to intangible assets acquired through business acquisitions, income tax related to the intangible assets acquired through business acquisition, and the loss of fair value change in public traded companies, was RMB 1.7 billion, compared with RMB 0.7 billion in the same period of 2020. Basic and diluted net loss per share were each RMB 5.34. Adjusted basic and diluted net loss per share was each RMB 4.22. For the full year of 2021, our total net revenues increased by 62% to 19.4 billion. Notably, non-GAAP revenue for 2021 grew 99% year-on-year, accounting for 74% of the total revenue. Gross profit for the 2021 full year increased 42% to 4 billion. Net loss for 2021 was 6.8 billion, compared with 3.1 billion in 2020. Adjusted net loss for 2021 was 5.5 billion, compared with 2.6 billion in 2020. Basic and diluted net loss per share for 2021 was RMB 17.87. This compared with RMB 8.71 in 2020. Adjusted basic and diluted net loss per share was RMB 14.42, compared with RMB 7.4 in 2020. As of December 31, 2021, we had cash and cash equivalents, term deposits, and short-term investments of RMB 13.2 billion, compared with RMB 12.8 billion as of December 31, 2020. Driving long-term values for all of our stakeholders remains our broader objective. We are pleased to announce an up to $500 million share repurchase program in next 24 months. In addition, our Chairman and CEO Chen Rui also expressed his intention to use his personal funds to purchase the company outstanding ADS for up to $10 million in the next 24 months. With that in mind, we are currently projecting net revenues for the first quarter of 2022 to be between RMB 5.3 billion and RMB 5.5 billion. Thank you for your attention. We would like now to open the call to your questions. Operator, please go ahead.
Thank you. To ask a question, you will need to press star one on your telephone. For your question, press the pound key. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, if you wish to ask your question to management in Chinese, please immediately repeat your question in English. Please limit your questions to one at a time. If you wish to have follow-up questions, please rejoin the queue. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question is from Li Zhang with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Your line is open.
嗨，管理层晚上好，谢谢接受我的提问。然后第一个问题就是想问一下比较宏观的层面，了解一下我们公司2022年的整体的战略重点是什么。然后第二个问题呢，主要是和用户相关吧，就是可以给我们分享一下我们22年对用户的展望，还有可能如何实现我们的用户目标。如果可以的话，也可以给我们分享一下我们最近 EQ 的用户还有社区的发展情况吗？谢谢，我自己翻译一下。Thanks management for taking my question. Firstly, a high-level question on your strategic focus in 2022, and secondly, on user side, what's our outlook in user growth for 2022, and how should we achieve our user targets? And relate to that, any color on the fourth quarter's user and community development? Thank you.
2022年公司的战略还是会围绕着增长。就是包括用户增长、收入增长，而且的话我们会持续之前的健康的一个增长的一个态势。
So our key word for 2022 will still be focused on growth. Growth on the user side, on the revenue side, and most importantly, we want to remain the growth quality. We want to keep it a high quality growth.
我们可以看到，就是在去年的 Q4。就是我们的用户仍然是保持一个健康且高速的增长，我们的 MAU 是 2.72 亿，同比增长 35%， 而且的话在这个数字背后更重要的是它这个健康度是非常好的，比如说就是我们的 Q4 的日活的使用时长是到了82分钟，这个应该是历史上的 Q4 的最高数值。
For example, in Q4,we maintain a very high quality user growth rate. Our MAU reached 272 million, up 35% year over year. And most importantly, the healthiness of that MAU is very strong. For example, the average daily time spent per DAU reached 82 minutes, and that is the highest DAU time spent we've seen in the fourth quarter operating history.
就是我们看这个互动的数据 ，Q4 的月均互动是同比增长 116%， 超过了100亿次。而且的话，就是从留存来看，就是我们的 Q4 的12个月的正式会员的12个月正式会员的留存是进一步提升，达到了 84%。
And on the community engagement side, our monthly interactions grew over 116% year over year, reaching 10 billion. And on the retention side, the 12-month retention rate of our official member has further increased to 84%.
而且除了这个数字上的增长，我们可以看到我们的用户转化付费的一个质量也是非常高。就是 Q4 的话，就是我们的付费用户同比增长是 37%， 这是超过了我们 MAU 的增速的。而且的话，就是我们2021年全年的月度平均付费率是超过了 9%， 这个数字呢也是每年都在提升。20年是 8%， 然后19年是 6%。所以我们可以看到，就是在持续的用户增长的过程中，我们用户的质量 也是非常好的，而且的话它的付费的一个转化是持续在提升。
And on top of those engagement numbers, we noticed that all the users that come into our community has effectively converted to our paying users. In the fourth quarter, the monthly MPUs increased 37% year-on-year, outpacing the MAU growth rate. And our annual paying ratio reached 9%, which is improved from 8% from last 2020 and 6+% compared to 2019. And this is very important over the period of growth, we are able to deliver this quality set of numbers to show that we really have delivered a high quality growth rate.
展望未来的话，我们仍然有信心，就是达成我们之前提出的2023年4亿 MAU 的目标。就在刚刚过去的，就是今年的1月份，2022年的1月份，我们的 MAU 是突破了3个亿，而且的话，我们单用户的日均使用时长是突破了90分钟。就从这个势头来看，今年仍然会是一个高速且健康增长的势头。
As we look ahead, we still are very, very confident to achieve our 400 million MAU user target by end of 2023. And looking at our January number, our overall MAU has reached over 300 million milestone, and more importantly, the daily time spent per DAU has reached over 90 minutes. So the growth momentum remain very, very strong, and we're confident to continue to deliver this high quality, high growth rate set of numbers.
其实我们回顾过去，我们会发现，就是 B 站在全世界的互联网产品当中，都是一个比较独特的一个增长模型。就是我们成立13年来，每年都在持续的高速且健康的一个增长。我觉得这个其实是得益于我们内容生态驱动的一个增长的模型，而且的话，就是我认为这一个增长的态势还会继续持续下去。
As we look in the past, we think Bilibili is a very unique product across the global internet landscape. We have maintained a fast and healthy growth rate for the past 13 years. We think that contributes to our powerful content ecosystem-driven business model. And based on this business model, we're still very confident that this growth momentum can continue.
我再说一下增长，我再说一下收入的增长。其实收入增长在过去的2年，我们一直是把它看作跟用户增长一样重要的一个工作。我们可以看到，就是过去2年，我们的 VAS 还有广告的一个收入一直在高速的增长，尤其是我们的直播跟广告，它的这个年对年的增速一直是超过100%的。
So if we're taking another look at our growth on the revenue side, for the past 2 years, we see revenue growth as important as our user growth, especially within our VAS and advertising segment, and they have been keeping roughly around 100% year-on-year growth rate.
在今年2022年，收入增长仍然会是公司战略的重心，而且的话，它也是我们整个公司最重要的工作之一。过去呢，就是我们在用户增长跟收入增长之间，我们分配精力的一个平衡是7-3开，就是用户增长占70%，收入增长占30%。在今年的那个工作的规划里面，我们会调整一下分配的一个比例，我们会5-5开，那就是用户增长花50%的精力，收入增长花50%的精力。收入增长在今年会成为比在过去更重要的一个工作。
As we look into our past work priority or resource allocation in the past 2 years, for the energy we put in revenue growth versus user growth could split to 3:7 ratio. And for this year, we will adjust our resource allocation and split our energy and resource equally into both revenue growth and user growth. In other words, revenue growth will play a much more important role across our work priorities.
近期的就是我们可以看到资本市场的一个动荡，就虽然从股价上来看的话，它是有波动的，但是从另外一个角度来说的话，它其实一定程度上也缓解了行业的内卷，就是在每家公司的这种成本的投入，就是无论是比如说市场的投入或者说是这种人力成本的投入上，以前是内卷的很厉害的，但是今年我认为内卷的情况会得到很大的缓解，我们也会借此机会控制支出，降本增效，把不该花的钱都给控制住，同时的话把该花的钱的效率提得更高。
And on the other hand, we've noticed that there's been a fluctuation in the capital market. There's been a fluctuation on the stock price as well. And from another perspective, this is actually helping the overall industry to reduce the rat race. For example, on the sales and marketing side and compete for talent side, there's been a very heavy, intense rat race across the sector, and we believe that situation will alleviate this year, and we'll pay more attention to control our expenses and reduce our costs and improve our overall efficiency, putting every dollar we spend into more use.
以上就是我对第一个问题的回答。
So that's all the answers.
Our next question comes from Alex Yao with JP Morgan. Your line is open.
管理层晚上好啊，谢谢接受我的提问。我想问一个关于咱们Story Mode 的一些情况就比如说能不能分享一下现在这个产品目前的渗透率，然后中长期的话，咱们希望 Story Mode 在我们的生态中扮演怎么样的一个角色最后呢是这个产品在变现上我们现在有什么样的这个思考那我自己翻译一下。Good evening, management. I'd like to ask a couple of questions on a relatively new product, Story Mode. Can you share with us some of the latest thoughts around the product penetration rate, and then what kind of the role you want this product to play in our content ecosystem over the medium to longer term? Lastly, how do you guys think about the monetization potential and the revenue model for this product? Thank you.
Story Mode 这个产品的一个表现形式，其实去年在我们产品上就有了，只不过呢我们没有对外说。其实用户是不知道 Story Mode 这个称呼的，因为我们在用户界面上其实并没有把它区分开，就是所有的视频的一个表现在我们的用户界面上它其实是混为一体的，然后用户也很习惯这种自然的一种表现。
So the product Story Mode actually has already been online last year. However, our users really they can't tell, they don't know the product name is called Story Mode because it's integrated in our overall user interface. It's naturally embedded in our recommendation feeds to satisfy users' needs for this certain product.
其实做 Story Mode 的原因是因为就是我的理念，我认为 B 站一直不是一个工具，它是一个以人为中心的社区，所以的话就是对于 B 站的消费场景，它一定是多场景多屏幕的，就是它不仅仅局限于中长视频，也并不仅仅局限于这个就是横屏的这种表现模式，它其实是它可以有比较短的视频，它可以有直播，它也可以有竖屏，所以的话就是Story Mode 其实是 对于我之前提出的多场景多屏幕的一个那个策略的一种补全。
The reason why we started the story mode because from my personal perspective, I think Bilibili should not be a tool. It should be a video community surrounded with people's needs. And that needs may involve multiple scenarios on multiple screens, whether it's mid to longer form, whether it's in the horizontal format. We believe those content can be shorter, and they can also be in a vertical format. It could also be live broadcasting. And addressing this trend or our understanding to users' needs, we launched the story mode to supplement our application scenarios.
对，其实那个我记得上个季度财报的时候，对我也提过我们的这个大屏端，就是电视频端，其实这是一样的理念。大屏端、电视频端是我们向客厅的一个延伸，而这个 Story Mode 其实是我们向轻消费和碎片化消费的一个延伸。
In the last earnings report call, we mentioned our initiatives on the smart TV side, and those initiatives are adapt to this multi-scenario strategy, which we are putting our content into people's living rooms. And for the adoption of story mode, we hope to satisfy users on-the-go entertainment needs in their fragmented time.
就如果你用过这个 B 站的这个 Story Mode 这个产品形式的话，然后你会发现，就是它虽然在界面上它是一个竖屏的一个播放，就是在这一点上跟抖音看起来是比较像，但是它用起来的这种实际的体验，它是100% B 站特色的。比如说，就是 Story Mode 大部分的视频是分钟级的视频，就是我们的这个 Story Mode。它比如说1分钟、2分钟、3分钟这样的一个视频，而且的话就是那个它是注重质量的，它上面是漂浮着弹幕的。
So if you have used story mode, you would notice even though the user interface is in a vertical format, might look like Douyin's product. However, the actual experience will be full Bilibili featured experience. For example, on our story mode, there's content range from 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the quality is similar to our PUGV, and there will be bullet chat flying across the screen.
然后在那个内容的品类上，我们可以认为 Story Mode 其实是我们 PUGV 生态的一个延展，就是大量的 Story Mode 的这种竖屏的视频，它的创作者就是我们的 PUGV 的 UP 主，然后在这一块的话，就是它相当于就是我们的创作者用另外一种方式，他去创作竖屏的更短一些时间的一个视频。
On the content category, we can see story mode as a very natural extension to our PUGV ecosystem. Massive number of story mode video has been produced by our PUGV content creators. In another way, it's just those content creators are leveraging this new outlet and new tools to create content.
就是我们在产品的一个那个开发理念上，我们一直是以用户为中心的，所以的话就是其实这个 story 我们的一个进度的一个推进，它也是跟着用户的需求走的。从目前看来，我们的用户对于 story mode 的接受程度是很高的。现在 story mode 它在 DAU 的一个渗透上是已经达到了超过20%，而且的话更重要的一点就是它在点赞的一个比例上，它是达到了30%。其实这个就说明了，就是用户对于 B 站的这个 story mode， 他是会选择的，他是接受的，甚至是喜欢的。
On our product philosophy, it always has been surrounded by users, and the product progress follows our users' needs towards video content. From several data point, we noticed that the adoption of story mode has been widely accepted by our users. On a DAU level, the penetration is over 20%, and over 30% of those views will be subject to the thumbs up, the likes, which means our users are accepting and loving this new product.
我一直认为用户对于内容的一个消费选择，它是跟着品类和社区氛围走的，而不是说他要选择一种表现形式或者是一种视频的一种长短。就像是这个喜欢喝可乐的人，他不会在乎这个可乐到底是易拉罐装的还是瓶装的，或者说是喜欢喝碳酸饮料的人，他不会在乎可乐是黑的七喜是白的，他喜欢的其实是品类，是社区的氛围。所以的话就是我认为就是未来的 Story Mode 它一定是完全融入到我们的品类内容和社区当中的，就是它的渗透率在我看来未来应该是做到超过 50%， 甚至是更高，因为用户他喜欢看的是一类的内容，而不在乎它是1分钟的还是3分钟的，或者它是竖屏的还是横屏的。
In summary, we think the user chooses content is largely based on the content category and the overall community experience, not by the length of it. For example, a Coke lover would not care if the Coke is in a can or in a bottle. A soda lover wouldn't care if the Coke is black and Fanta is white. And all in all, it's the category, the content category, and the community environment is helping users to decide which product they follow. And in my view, I think story mode is a product can be fully integrated, immersed in our content category as well as our community. In the not so distant future, the penetration could potentially reach to 50% or even above, because after all, what attracts user is about the content category itself, not the length of the content or whether it's in a vertical format or in a horizontal format.
最后说一下商业化，因为 Story Mode 它是手机的一个竖屏视频的一个展现方式，然后这个展现方式它的商业化的模式包括广告分发的模式，包括在中间插直播的一个模式，我觉得在产品形式上其实行业里面已经比较成熟了，所以的话就是我们其实实践的一个过程也是它这个商业化是很自然的，从我们目前实践的一个比例来看，就是它对于广告的分发之类的效率还是蛮高的。
So lastly, on the commercialization potential, because story mode is a product based on mobile devices and vertical format. So in this industry, the commercialization of this product has been pretty mature, whether it's on the distribution of advertisement or it's traffic interest for live broadcasting services. It's just about our implementation on the execution of our commercialization strategy. And based on our initial testing and initial data, we've noticed that it has very good distribution efficiency to commercial ads as well as our live broadcasting services.
对，就是这些。
Yeah, that would be all.
Our next question comes from Alex Poon with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
晚上好，谢谢管理层接受我的提问。我的问题是关于我们一个盈亏平衡点的一个情况。请问在22年我们毛利率的趋势，从这个1季度到4季度会是一个什么的趋势？假设我们即使没有游戏版号的情况下，以及各个板块的毛利率会有一些什么的变化，包括广告 和直播这个员工数的增长以及这个盈亏平衡点这个实现的路径和时间表谢谢。Thanks management for taking my question. My question is related to our losses controlled in 2022, including how will our gross margin trend from Q1 to Q4 this year, assuming we don't get any game license approval, and also the by segment gross margin trend for including advertising and live streaming, how will that change this year, and our headcount expansion plan, and also the timetable for break-even and profitability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Let me take this question. You are right. We agree that profitability is a key objective for all the companies. Our company, we believe in, long-term sale. We strive to find a balance, between achieving a break-even point and the investing for long-term opportunities, rather than just, pursuing certain short-term financial metrics. We believe by doing so, it will, maximize the interest of our shareholders. As mentioned by our CEO, we are confident that when, maintaining a healthy user and revenue growth, the non-GAAP operating loss ratio could be narrowed on year-over-year basis starting from 2022 by improving the monetization efficiency, increasing the revenue per MAU, and control the, operating expenses. The target is to achieve the break-even point on non-GAAP basis by 2024. Let's look into the details. First of all, we aim to, proactively manage our operating expense. Selling marketing expense, for example, is measurable and controllable. For example, the user acquisition cost as a big component of our sales marketing expenses only increased by 50%, while our total revenue increased by 61% year-over-year in 2021. There are still room to further optimize the marketing spending while we reach 400 million MAU target. We expect the total selling marketing expenses as a percentage of revenue will decline starting from 2022. And R&D expenses mainly include the personnel cost associated with developing the new games, enhancing the data capabilities, and optimizing the new product features, which are critical to increase our productivity and monetization capability. Understood the importance of attracting talents. In 2022, we will continue to invest in R&D, but we will closely monitor the ROI for all of our R&D projects. We expect that R&D expenses as a percentage of total revenue will start to show significant leverage from 2023 onwards. Secondly, there are still ample room for improvement in user monetization efficiency. We are still in a very early stage of commercialization. Our revenue per MAU increased by 20% last year. The increase was mainly driven by 34% increase in VAS revenue per MAU and 83% increase in ad revenue per MAU. Looking forward, those trends will continue, and we expect both VAS and ad revenue per MAU will have potential to double their current levels in 3 years. Last but not least, as you asked, the gross profit margin. While our game business undergoes a transition period, we are happy to see revenue contribution from advertising has risen from 13% in 2020 to 23% in 2021, and expected to further increase in 2022, in this year. In addition, we expect to introduce more VAS services and further improve the VAS gross margin. As a result, with the improvement of our commercialization capabilities, I think the overall the 2022 gross margin is expected to be slightly lower in Q1 this year, but will gradually improve during this year. And in the 3 years, the overall gross profit margin will be improved around 30% in 3 years. That will be all.
And for the headcount, I'll translate for Mr. Chen's remarks. Alex 问我们整个今年的总员工数的计划是怎么样的？
其实我们在那个员工数的增长方面，我们在过去几年一直是个放缓的一个态势。今年的员工数的增长会非常有限，就是因为我们现在也在盘点今年的一个就是整个的一个 high count， 然后我对内部提的其实就是聚焦，就是我们需要做大量增长的会加人，其他的部分的话应该就不会。
Actually, in the past few years, the growth rate have slowed for the number of our staff. And as for 2022, there's going to be a very limited headcount increase. My request for our HR this year is laser focus on the business areas that we wanted to have decent growth. And for those areas, we can add certain headcounts, and the rest of the business is controlled.
Our next question from Felix Liu with UBS. Your line is open.
管理层晚上好，谢谢接受我的提问，也恭喜我们的 Q4 业绩，尤其是我们广告部门的表现。我想问一下，就是关于我们 Q4 这个一季度还有2022年广告业务的展望，尤其考虑到最近市场对于这个宏观还有游戏版号的这个担忧。然后另外能否分享一下，就是我们广告商业化的这个形态还有策略，在2022年有没有什么新的 update？Thank you, management, for taking my question. And congratulations on the 4Q results, especially on the strong ad performance. I would like to ask question on the ad outlook for 2022, as well as on the first quarter, especially in the light of recent macro weakness, as well as the temporary suspension in new game license. And also, could you elaborate on your key commercialization initiatives for advertisements for 2022? Thank you.
我刚好也借这个机会就说一下，就是 B 站的广告增长的一个动力是什么。因为我们的广告在过去的2年，就是包括就是上一个季度都有一个就是大家都觉得是一个很亮眼的一个增长。然后其实之前也有少数人怀疑嘛，就说B 站用户体验这么好，一个用户体验好的产品是不是广告就做不起来？但事实上的话，就是我们的广告增长还是挺快的。我也借这个机会说一下吧。我觉得首先第一个来说呢，就是我们的用户在增长，同时我们的广告端的一个单用户的变现效率也在增长。就刚才我提到了，就是我们 DAU 其实在过去的几年一直是在持续增长的，在去年的第4季度，我们的 DAU 的增长是 34%。然后同时的话，我们的每 MAU 的一个广告变现的一个效率也在增长。我们2021年就是每 MAU 的广告变现的一个值，就是比前年我们增长的是 83%。对，所以的话就是这2个一叠加，它就是一个更高的一个广告的一个增长速度。
I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the growth driver behind Bilibili's advertisement business. And you may see in the past few quarters, our advertisement revenue has been growing over 100%, has been very strong. And we've also heard suspicions from the market that Bilibili's user experience is so good, how can you drive your advertising revenue without compromising user experience? So the number one reason is that we have experienced a very strong user growth. At the same time, our ad efficiency per user has also been increasing pretty nicely. In the fourth quarter, our DAU grew 34% year over year. And on a full year level in 2021, the ad revenue per MAU has increased 83%. And for those two factors combined together, that gives you the over 100% ad revenue growth.
对，第二个增长的动力呢，我认为是 B 站的用户价值以及这个平台的一个影响力，就是被这个市场越来越认可。我们可以看到过去几年，我们在横向上是用户的数量在增长，我们在纵向上其实是用户的在破圈，就是他从一个圈层扩到更多的一个圈层。所以的话，就是我们可以看到，就随着这个用户破圈的一个过程，越来越多的行业广告主会找到我们。比如说之前是游戏、3C， 后来变成比如说食品饮料，然后变成这个美容美妆，然后到了去年和今年，然后像汽车这些行业也会变成我们的一个重点的广告主。Q4 的时候，去年 Q4 的时候，汽车就成为我们前5大的这个广告主行业。就这个是跟一个用户破圈的一个过程，也是息息相关的。
And the second growth driver would be the value of Bilibili's user has been increasing, and at the same time, the influence of our platform has been well recognized by the market. If we look in the past few years, on the horizontal perspective, our user has been growing pretty nicely. And in a vertical view, we actually have constantly breaking up our own circle and allowing more different groups of user, occupation, gender, user being seen and recognized the existence of Bilibili, and that leads to more attention from different advertising verticals. For example, in the past few years, our leading verticals would be games and 3C digital products, and this slowly expands to skincare and cosmetics, food and beverage, and for this year, we are looking to extend into verticals like automotive. As a matter of fact, in fourth quarter last year, automotive has become our top 5 advertising industry verticals.
第三个动力，我认为是广告视频化的一个趋势，就是越来越多的广告的表现形式会用视频的方式来展现。所以 B 站也根据自己的一个我们产品的表现形式，就是我们会开发类似于像 Top View 这样的一种模式，我们也会有视频广告的表现形式。Story 未来的一个在我们的这个产品上的一个推进，它也会带来竖屏的视频的广告的一个模式。所以的话，就是视频的广告化广告的视频化是我们广告增长的第三个动力。
And the third growth driver would be the visualization of advertisement. More and more advertisement will be presented in the format of videos. And that's why we are adopting this trend, launching product like Top View, different advertising format based on our different video formats, including native ads, story mode. In the launch of story mode, it will also be adapting to current industries, the advertisement video in a vertical format. And all of this will help us to drive our advertising growth in the next few years.
我觉得第四个动力呢，就是 B 站的有一种就是有自己特色的一个广告的形式，就是原生广告。因为 B 站的视频大部分都是 UP 主做的，然后他们会把自己的创意融入到广告里，在自己创作的视频里面就是加入这种定制的一个广告。这个呢，我们内部呢就是把它称为UP 主的商单广告。然后我觉得就是在2021年的时候，我们明显已经可以感觉到，就是这种原生广告会被越来越多的广告主所接受。我们的花火平台在2021年底入驻的品牌已经超过了4200个，复投率达到了75%。而且的话，越来越多的 UP 主也进入了花火平台去接这些广告主的广告。然后我们在2021年已经有2.2万的 UP 主进入了花火平台，就是 为这些广告主去做广告。
And in the fourth growth driver would be our own unique advertising format, aka our native ads. The Bilibili native ads largely were produced by our content creators. They're actually combining their creativity to customize an advertisement within its own video. It's known as our Sparkle native ads. We're delighted to see more and more advertiser has been adapting and recognized this innovative format of advertisement. In 2021, in the fourth quarter of 2021, over 4,000 advertisers has been invested in our Sparkle ad platform. The repeated purchase rate has reached 75%. On the other hand, more and more content creator has signed up for our Sparkle platform. In 2021, over 22,000 content creator has signed up on our Sparkle platform to open themselves to this native ads opportunities.
对，我一直认为就是原生广告就是我们的这个花火系统，对 B 站是一个非常非常重要的一个优势。为什么呢？因为它是一个广告主的蓄水池，就是数以万计的 UP 主会把很多品牌广告主留在这个蓄水池里，然后我们就可以想更多的方法，就是让这些原生广告和我们现有的各种广告形式去打通，然后打通了以后的话，就可以把这个盘子给盘得更活。
We think the native ads is a very, very important format of advertisement for Bilibili. It's like a reservoir for us to keep the advertisers. The native ads, the content creator is helping us to attract those advertisers. They're staying with us. What we need to do next is to further integrate the native ads with more of our standardized, scalable advertising formats to allow native ads to help us to drive the sale of our other standard advertisement products.
我觉得第5个动力的话，就是我刚才提到的，就是 B 站的多场景、多屏幕的这种特性，然后这个也有助于打通各种更多的广告场景。
Lastly, with the last growth driver will be the multi-scenario, multi-screen strategy. We believe by further integrate those scenarios and devices, we can help us to open more ad inventories and improve our overall ad efficiency.
我们可以看到，就从数据上来说，在我们传统的 PUGV 的量快速增长的同时，我们新扩展出来的电视屏幕和 Story 各自也在快速增长。这个就相当于是我会有了更多的场景、更多的视频内容可以去加入广告。
From a data perspective, as our PUGV continue to expand rapidly, the new territory, which is the smart devices, smart TV, and story mode, is helping us open up more scenarios, more devices, and more video content can leverage for commercial advertisement opportunities.
我一直认为广告收入和用户体验不是冲突的，而且从长期来看，它们甚至是一致的。为什么呢？因为最后广告的效果它需要通过影响用户的心智去实现，而好的平台，用户喜爱的平台更能够去影响用户心智。
In summary, I've always believed that the increase of advertising revenue does not conflict with user experience. In other way, it actually shared the same goal, because we believe the effect of an advertisement largely depends on the platform's influence among users' mindset, and a good platform can really put that influence to its users. Hence, the goal is connected.
就说一下那个对于2022年的展望，就是行业里面普遍认为，就是22年宏观经济还是有压力的，而且的话就是整个数字广告市场的增长是放缓的。但是呢，因为我刚才提到的我们广告增长的5个动力，我认为就即使在这样的大环境下，我们对于2022年广告业务的平稳健康增长仍然是有信心的，我们有信心实现高于行业平均水平的一个增长。
As for the outlook for 2022, despite the macro environment headwind and slowdown of digital advertisement, because of those 5 growth drivers I mentioned earlier, we are confident under this environment we can still deliver a healthy, stable ad revenue growth, at least above industry average.
对，就是这些。
Yeah, that would be all.
And that concludes the question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to management for any additional or closing comments.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please contact me, Julia Yang, Bilibili Executive IR Director, or TPG Investor Relations. Our contact information for IR in both China or in the US can be found on today's press release. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.